This is in the locker room.
They have to hold it.
Oh, that's the ballot.
Okay.
Lisa.
Yeah,
2.4 million.
okay.
2.4 million.
Hello.
Okay. Ladies,
So he must
I
have been
know,
doing that
he
for
was-
a couple of years.
Well, let's
ladies,
go.
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
I'm
the
sorry.
Cowboys.
I'm
Okay.
sorry. I'm sorry.
You have to talk into.
Yes.
Look, I'm trying to clip it to my head.
That looks too weird.
Don't do it.
Ready? Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your QB1 Star Mallory, and welcome to another week of Women Speaking Sports RVA. We are now at an hour, so sit back, relax, put your feet up on your way to work. Safe drive, safe travels. We've got a show for you today. I want to thank our sponsors, Jerry, My King Biz, ESPN Richmond, the Hilton Downtown. And I want to pass it over really quick to Lisa because Lisa's got something very special for us on the table. So Lisa, go ahead and kind of tell us what's in front of us.
Okay, so I'm not typically the person that believes everybody gets a trophy, but today,
Very anti.
these are my sports friends, and we're all keeping it real here.
Yeah.
If you notice on the plates, it says winner. Okay, so I know it's the morning. I know it's the morning, but Lagrada has sent over their dessert trio, which has the tiramisu, the profiterole, and the Grand Marnier strawberry cake. Okay,
Excellent.
but
It is never.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lagrada.
thank you, Lagrada. Yes, thank you for
And Lisa for the connection. Yes. It is
Always.
never too early for chocolate.
So I also
Right, I'm with
I
you.
also have something else I wanted to give you because I have
What?
some good news. I have a new client, and it's a sweet shop in Blackstone, Virginia, and so she sent for all of you
My.
Oh, I feel like
Very
it's
excited
Valentine's
here.
Day all over.
Very
some
excited.
Showing the
homemade
love, Lisa.
champagne truffles.
Lisa,
Yeah.
will you marry
This
me?
is this is Liberty Hollow Sweets in Blackstone, Virginia. She's been a chocolatier. Jeannie has been a chocolatier for 30 years. Her and her husband just opened in December, and everything is made right in the shop. They do coffee, sweets, and ice cream. So
Thank you, Gina.
yeah, so
They
thank
had me a
you
chocolate,
to Liberty.
so.
Yeah, Liberty,
Liberty Hollow?
Liberty
Sweets.
Hollow.
Yeah. So thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Blacksburg, did
Oh,
you
wait,
say?
and
Blackstone, Virginia.
Can we
Blackstone.
also shout out one of our panel faves? You know, we're friends and
Absolutely.
family. Just want to say thank you to Danielle.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
Danielle.
Come
Thank
on
you.
now.
I'm a gracious,
That's right.
not winner.
Yes, she didn't win the bet, but she brought an excellent prize. Her
Thank you,
homemade
Danielle.
sangria.
And she bottled it for us.
Exactly.
know.
We have to write a
Hold on.
review.
Not
after
only-
the test.
let's write
Not
a
only
review.
did she bottle it, she labeled it.
Period.
Exactly.
Come through.
That's
This is
fancy.
why
She had such a
So
favorite.
I'm from Scottsville, Virginia. That's where my parents are.
Yeah.
I
Oh
was in
yeah,
the
they're making
country.
some shine out there.
In the country. So you got to put your foot in it.
Oh,
That's what I'm
oh,
talking
it's a
about.
little
You got to
heavy.
put your foot in it.
Okay
Everything you
now.
do.
I can't wait to drink mine.
Yeah.
Me too. Me too. I'll
And
save mine for this evening.
Yeah. And I'm going to share mine with my husband, especially if you put your foot in it. 'cause,
Yeah.
You know.
No sharing, no sharing
Well,
of chocolate
ladies,
or
we've
wine.
got chocolate on the table, and I just want to ask you guys, will you be my Valentine?
Oh, you know what, Star?
Okay.
She always keeps herself at the top of our list.
Yes.
You know,
We
look
got
at
it.
her.
Well, not to be shady, but we know that space is open since Mr. Burrow.
All right.
Oh, let's go. Let's get right in it.
Let's right into it,
Right
Mr.
in.
Burrow.
Right, Danny.
I did want to
Was
go
your
ahead.
boyfriend
We'll
only
start
2
talking about. We will start talking about the Super Bowl, and I did write a little apology for you, ladies.
Did you?
Not necessary. Not
What?
necessary.
I don't think that's necessary.
I
We are
wrote-
both gracious winners and losers on this table.
Yeah, we got alcohol. We got chocolate. It's
We don't need
fine,
an
it's
apology.
fine.
Okay, all right. No apology.
No,
No apology.
not from you. No.
No apology. That's fine. That's fine.
It was a good game.
It was
a
a good game.
Let me tell you something. There have been a lot of games over the past few years where you just feel like, I'm here for the halftime, even though I was there for the
I
halftime.
mean, it was a great
That
Super
was
Bowl.
an
It was a good game.
excellent Super Bowl all the way around. You know, even like the pregame when
Yeah.
they're showing all the
LA
celebrities.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Take it back to LA again. I like that vibe.
I like
Yeah.
the vibe.
Definitely like that vibe.
I like the vibe. But you know what was so funny? Well, not really funny, but
something that the NFL has been talking about is for 2 years in a row, a team's had a home field advantage. And you know what I'm saying?
And
So the
that
LA
hadn't happened
Rams,
to the last 2 years.
and that happened.
Of course,
So-
my Bucks were the first, but
oh,
Oh
okay.
my goodness, she gonna try to
Can
stand
we
the
please
butt.
acknowledge- Can we acknowledge that Carrie is back?
Right.
Oh, yes.
Carrie,
Welcome
we are
back,
so
Carrie.
glad that you are back. We missed you.
We missed you
Yes,
tremendously.
you.
Definitely.
No one could
2
carry
weeks of grieving.
the flag like you've carried the flag.
She needed time off for grief. She did.
Wait a minute, did she
For
say
our new
Ash
listeners,
residue?
for our new listeners,
She was wearing sackcloth.
Carrie is a diehard Brady fan.
Absolutely.
Be
And so-
clear,
And
a Brady fan, not necessarily a Bucks or
But,
Patriots,
right,
but a Brady fan.
If
Yeah.
Tom Brady comes out of retirement tomorrow and plays Little League football, this lady's gonna be there.
She's gonna be there.
I am. And
Home team shirt and all.
Everything,
Yeah.
everything.
I established Super Bowl Sunday is now Tom Brady Sunday.
Yes, yes, it's
Oh,
on the
yeah, the
calendar.
holiday, I saw that,
It's
she
a
had,
national holiday, and since he owned it for so many years.
Oh.
Like Carrie just slipped them in. Carrie just slipped them in.
Sangria right now.
So,
Well, we can go back to LA while Tom Brady was in Costa Rica.
That's right. Let's see what you got, Star.
so I don't want to leave the Super Bowl because there were so many great highlights, but Deshaun Watson at Tampa Bay? Maybe.
I've been hearing
Maybe.
it. I've been hearing it, but you
There's
know
a lot
what?
of maybes.
I think at this point, Tampa Bay is going to have to do a lot to be able to show up and do, because if you think about where they were the 2-3 seasons prior,
Right.
they definitely needed Tom Brady.
Yeah.
So with him being gone, we'll see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really gonna be hard because I think he brought a renewed energy to the team and to, Tampa Bay became Tampa Bay and
Lord, this lady said that
Oh.
word, y'all. Tampa
It
Bay.
keeps
I
going.
can't with this lady over
It
here.
keep-
You would have
it
thought they were
keeps
in the Super
coming.
Bowl. You would have thought they were in the Super Bowl.
they went on.
Carrie thinks she's having a dream. That it was a nightmare. It's not really
I
real.
love the commitment,
I
man.
want to redirect to Steph B, your guy, OBJ.
Oh, yeah.
It was in a very
I am in
emotional
sackcloth
game
and ashes.
for him. And
Yeah.
how did you feel like seeing him score that first touchdown of the game? And then after when he won, he couldn't stop crying. So many emotions were
Yeah.
running high. How did that affect you?
I mean, I love OBJ. I had the opportunity to see him a couple times, before he was pro.
Right.
And I think he's a winner. I think he has a winner spirit. I think he's an incredible athlete. I think there's immaturity there. We see that a lot of times with young athletes that come in. But what we saw Sunday was someone seeking redemption.
Yeah.
You had that moment where the whole season, ever since, I feel like he got run out of Cleveland. So when he left and the way he was talked about and treated, I didn't think it was necessarily fair, which is kind of the thing when you put yourself in a position of being somewhat unlikable because you're a big personality. It's the way it goes. People don't like you. It doesn't matter how great you're doing. They're never going to give you grace, even if you're doing poorly, well, or whatever. So when he showed up in LA, I didn't know what to think.
Yeah.
Matt Stafford, not always the most consistent, 12 years in Detroit. And I was like, is he going to
And he's a Super Bowl
and now he's
champion
a
of the
Super
world.
Bowl champ.
Yes,
That's
but he
right.
was not consistent.
But he
in the
wasn't
game.
consistent. He wasn't.
But I was pulling for him.
Hold
as a
on.
quarterback.
So I do think what I was worried about was whether he and Stafford would connect.
Yeah.
So the fact that they connected on that first touchdown, even though him getting hurt, it's got to be painful for him. Certainly painful for for a fan to see. I think that you had your game right there. You scored the first touchdown. You don't have to do anything else, And so I'm happy for him. I hope that he recovers quickly. That's the great thing about athletes. You put in the work, you'll bounce back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah. But shout out to OBJ if you're watching. Still here, still
From
back.
Richmond. From Richmond.
From Richmond, Virginia.
From Richmond.
From Richmond.
You never
the River
know.
City.
804.
804.
Well, Danielle, you and I, we were pulling for the underdog.
Look, to the last play, to the last 40 seconds. Yeah, I was pulling. Pulling. It was a great game. They had it,
They
but all the
really did.
time wasn't on the clock.
Right.
Yeah.
Amazing what you
Yeah.
can do with a minute and 40
It's
seconds.
amazing
so
what
look-
you
I
can
know,
So
ask
quick.
Mr. Brady.
Play
Play.
through the whistle.
But look
Play
at the
through the whistle.
composure of such a young quarterback.
Absolutely.
I
You
can't
can't
A
take
young
anything
quarterback
from
who
him.
got sacked 10 times
Oh my
plus.
But
Offensive line.
That wasn't all his fault. I mean,
what I'm saying is that
but he's supposed to have an offensive line to
That's
protect
right.
him.
But
Absolutely.
what I'm saying, I guess what I'm saying is, I don't think they almost had it. I think that the Rams almost lost it. And so when I look at the fact that what got the Rams there, and let's be clear, Rams are not my team.
Right. We know.
Oh, we know.
Yellow.
We know.
However, I got to go with Texas. I'm going to always go with Texas and Von Miller and Mr. AD. Aaron Donald got it done
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
defensive
Phenomenal.
side.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
And they
defense wins
never-
games.
I couldn't
Defense wins
understand
games.
I thought
Why
that
In every
Donald should
sport.
have gotten the MVP.
Well, you can't do that
No.
because he held the game in play. However, my boy, Cooper Kupp,
Cooper
did
Kupp.
his thing.
He killed it.
And he really blitzed. And I
Not
couldn't
once.
understand, why were we running away from
You
him?
know, Cooper Kupp reminds
Let me
me.
tell
We
you something.
established this
Let me-
while you were gone.
So let me just
We
be
had some new
clear.
loyalties,
Yeah,
Karen.
yeah.
New loyalties.
Just
Like a soap
talent.
opera. Yep.
I don't really like Tom Brady, but I got to give him the GOAT title, okay?
Thank you.
When I look at the wide receivers out there, I'm a wide receiver fan.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know, when I look at what this individual did, amidst everything he caught was in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything. But he got it done. And I couldn't understand, why are you not going to what got you in the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
And when they finally did that, that's where the tide turned.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And he was
that's all
moved.
I had to say. Nothing bad on your boy. We can't say that he was getting it done because his O line, but let me tell you something. Always bet on the dirty D.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord,
yeah.
here we go. Here we go.
Look, defense keeps the points off the. Look,
I mean,
I'm not
Dr.
going to
Danny
be
is a
mad
trip.
at it because defense keeps the points off the scoreboard.
I see that.
Yes.
And listen, I'm a big fan, and you know what? I've loved some of the best wide receivers in the game. You can go back and look at out of Marshall, y'all know who, straight into the NFL. You got people like Randy Moss that have always been high performers.
Big fan.
One thing I'll say about Cup, he almost moves like a running back.
Yeah.
He's got
does.
running back
He does.
behaviors. He definitely does.
Yeah.
So I mean, they pulled it out. I can honestly say it was worth watching.
Okay,
You
but
walk
enough
away from
about
some
the
of those
football
games, you
game.
don't
Let's
feel
talk
it.
about that halftime show.
Yes.
Okay, I mean, but the halftime show.
Come on now, Gen X represent.
Yes, I mean,
Mary
they
J
had
was
to
holding
be-
it down for
yes,
the
she
big
was.
girls and
Yes.
the 50
Look,
plus.
I wasn't mad at the bodysuit.
I wasn't mad at the
For the
boots.
thighs. I wasn't
No, the
mad at the
boots.
bodysuit.
I get those boots?
Mary J.
look.
Blige needs a boot line because
That's-
if you
look,
go
that's what
through
I'm talking
all of her
about.
concert looks,
Those boots are killer.
she kills it
Okay.
every time with
And
those
you know they're
thigh-high boots.
custom because
I'm
those
waiting
thighs are
on-
thick.
I'm waiting on concert 4. I'm waiting on concert 4. I've
Yeah.
seen
Yeah.
it 3 times live. I'm waiting on concert
It
4.
was definitely, and I liked that everything just seemed so bright and fresh, and it just felt very California. Even
And
though
it
you
wasn't
got
over.
Mary
It
from
wasn't
New
an
York, it's-
overdone
I
stage.
miss
Right.
Tupac showing up.
I'm so happy they didn't do the hologram.
Yeah,
I'm so glad they didn't do the hologram.
Hold on, I wasn't mad about the guest appearance of 50 Cent.
Oh, me neither.
Oh, but when he was upside down, I was
Okay.
like, ooh.
It made him look a
Okay,
little
all
bit more
the candy
swole
shop.
when he got right side up.
Thicker than a Snicker.
When he came out with that song, I was a lot thinner than him.
Okay,
So,
touche. There you go. You know what? Good point. Good point.
It was good. And Uncle Snoop with his little, his little
He's doing this little
You know,
two-step.
He was
He
the only
keeping
one
it
who
real.
was not out of breath. I
He
would
really
say.
was.
He said, I've been doing this for a while.
Yes,
now. I've
He
been
yes.
didn't got it down to slow motion.
It was-
He
it
didn't
was-
got it down to slow motion.
It was a smart move on the part of Jay-Z and the NFL, or Rock Nation and the NFL, to pull that particular show together in LA.
Yeah.
Okay,
You
and
gotta
Dr.
come
Dre,
big.
and
You gotta
Dr.
come star
Dre,
quality.
what, he had a
Yeah.
stroke,
Right.
what, less than 5 years ago?
I forgot.
Yeah,
about
I didn't
that.
even,
He
I didn't
looked
know.
good.
Yeah,
He
he
looked
did
good.
look good.
And his flow was tight.
It was,
Yeah.
yeah.
Good.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
There's a.
We're being
there's
very
a
Gen X
doctor
right now.
that-
Poor
Well,
stuff.
we are.
I'm sorry.
I'm here. I want to teach star. So
Okay, but Kendrick Lamar did his thing.
Yeah, we'll
He
come
did
back to
his
him, but Go ahead,
thing.
Carrie, finish your thought.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
there's a tremendous Dr. Dre documentary out there, which I know is not football related or sports related,
okay.
but it is incredible. The people that were on the stage, so many of them, he brought up.
Well,
And he
Eminem.
created,
one of the
Yeah.
all of them. And
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
just don't understand his influence on that industry, and to see that talent show off and his work and see him show off. It was really, really great. But go watch the documentary. It's a 3-part series.
Okay,
Must watch.
that's a
Thank
documentary.
you.
And you know what? And shout out to Jay-Z. He wrote Dr. Dre's show closer.
Yeah.
You know, and so when they flashed to him in the stands and he was rapping the lyrics that he wrote, I mean, it's just full circle.
Yeah.
It's also full circle. I mean, it's very much like sports. Seeing the people who were up there on the stage, the people who are involved with it, like Jay-Z and everyone else, these are all people who've had
I'm just wondering
redemption
if Stephanie
stories.
can get Jay-Z in there one more
time.
Yes, yes.
I
We
was
gonna
just
gonna
sorry
rep
we
New
didn't
York.
get the icky
But
shuffle.
I like
Mary
that
was
he no,
repping.
for
Mary
real.
was
Well, then you
repping
need
New
to
York.
rep Nas then if you want to rep
No,
New
I'm
York.
gonna rep New York. And it's Jay-Z in this case. What I'm saying is I think what you can see in this is the connection to how a lot of these athletes have those full circle moments where they come from nothing, they work their way up. Every single person on that stage had a hard luck story
Oh,
to
yeah.
start out. You know, it wasn't like they went to, you know, some famous music academy, grew up in
Right.
households full of money. These were people who were really, they had to scrap to make it in the industry. So I think it's a great reflection of the attitude that great athletes come to the table. We saw lyrical athletes up there.
And they
was a
did it
good
in
show.
LA. So, and I can't remember the player for the Rams team that got the trophy and award, but part of his story was he had a kid.
Whitmore.
Yeah.
Whitmore.
Big Whit.
So part of his story was that he had a kid that he had mentored when the kid was little.
Really?
Mentored when he was little at like a Boys and Girls Club program.
Yeah.
The kid is now in his first year of the NFL, wrote him a letter and said, I made it.
Oh my gosh.
God.
You know,
No,
this is definitely women in
Okay.
sports today.
Yeah.
We're like,
I mean, it's a
oh,
great story.
I mean, what
So
an
good.
impact he made on some young person's life. You're
Yeah.
in LA. There were stories about having to move the homeless outside from around
Crazy.
the stadium. So I think the show where the halftime performers pulled themselves up from nothing to where they are today. So many of the athletes
Same
who
thing.
are pulling themselves up, I mean, this is their life.
Yeah.
They got to make it. If they
Yeah.
don't make it, the family doesn't make it. I think
Right.
LA was the perfect backdrop to
And there
that.
was a really
Excellent.
great
Yeah,
story
great
about
point.
Spain, who plays for the Bengals, who grew up in Petersburg.
Yes.
A great article. about
Right.
Yes.
I saw that.
That was a
article.
great story.
his mom getting to be there at the game. And it's just really just so perfect to see. Finally, I get to be on that stage that I've worked so hard for, and it was just really great.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love
That
the
is that
human
was a good
stories.
story.
They're-
Yeah.
I love a good story.
What were you?
Go ahead. No.
No, I was just saying, I love the human stories
Yeah.
behind it that you might not see all the
Otherwise.
time. And,
Right.
and it gives you a whole week, really, or 2 weeks to hear a lot about, like you were talking about Big Wit, and you got to
Yeah.
bring the age thing in. I love him too. And
40 years old.
40 years old.
Gray hair.
Until
doing it.
your man retired, he was the
Well, let's just be
second
clear. It's
oldest.
a difference being a quarterback and being out there on that line. So the things his body has gone through.
Absolutely,
is- that's-
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. I love when they showed his daughter sitting in the stands reading a book. So unimpressed.
Yeah.
Unimpressed by dad.
Yeah.
Well, you still gotta do your homework.
No, she was
That part.
literally.
Yeah.
He said before the
I done
game.
seen this before.
Before the
I done
game,
seen
she was
this.
like, "Yeah, have fun." Like she
Yeah.
barely. He said she's the youngest. She's used to doing her own thing. So during the Super Bowl, she was reading a book,
Yeah.
you know, doing her own thing. But it's nice. It was nice to see all those family connections and you know, babies being born. So who went
Oh
into
my
labor?
gosh.
Yeah.
Jefferson.
Jefferson's wife. I mean, he had to run off the field, took his kids in the locker room, and they were just running on their way to the
I
hospital.
love
I mean, can you imagine winning and having a
And
baby?
baby.
That's a
You
pretty
won
good
all the way
day.
around.
Girlfriend had hers
Pretty
too.
good day.
It could have been a two.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That is-
Oh, the
A
baby
twofer.
wasn't born?
It wasn't.
No.
It wasn't born.
No.
Okay,
Great,
well,
great. It was a great
Still,
Super
one
Bowl.
baby was born.
That's
One
great.
baby was born.
Yeah.
What a great day to talk about. I was born on the day my dad
Won
Won
the
the
Super
Super
Bowl,
Bowl.
and he left the game to
come
watch
see
me.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe
it's
it's
awesome. I
Yeah.
think the cool thing, I know Star wants to move on, but I'll say this. I think one of the really cool things too was there was just no animosity.
Yeah.
You
You're
know,
right.
you didn't see
You're
any no
right.
pushing, shoving, any of those things.
It was
You
a
saw
great
people
game.
hugging
Yeah.
one
Really-
another,
Yeah.
guys going up to OBJ after the game. I really, we need
Sportsmanship
that right
was
there.
A
We
lot of
need that
mutual
sportsmanship.
respect.
Absolutely.
Wait, did you just say we had civility in sports?
Exactly.
I think that's what you
I
said.
said it.
No, no, no,
I
we're
actually
Should we get
saw it.
civility
Into the
across
Olympics,
the
sorry.
board? Carrie probably
I
could
don't know.
appreciate that.
Basketball season's getting started up. real
Yeah,
good.
that ends.
Oh, well, yeah, basketball.
Yeah, you're not gonna see it during basketball.
Well, look, so talking about basketball. All right, Giannis for the Milwaukee Bucks,
The Greek
Oh,
freak.
the
The
Greek
Greek freak.
50 points with 21 shots.
That was
Do
the
the
part.
math there,
The
people.
21
50
shot.
points with
Exactly.
21 shots.
I couldn't believe when I
Okay,
saw
now
those stats.
I'm just gonna say it was against Malcolm Brogdon, my former Cavalier that now plays for the Indiana Pacers.
Well,
So it was
Right.
against the Pacers. So
Well,
Yeah,
I
but
gotta
he
cheer.
still had to make the shot.
He's still
Yeah.
50 points with 21 shots. Do the math. And it was
exactly.
not his first time doing it.
Oh, I did not know
It was
that.
not his first time
Okay.
doing
And
it.
he has an unbelievable story. I don't know if you guys.
Oh, his
seen the
story is
document
dope.
With his brother and being in the country, he
Yes.
go from this to that overnight.
But here's the thing, and you think about it, and when you watch like the Olympics are going on, and you always hear these great stories, it takes so much grit and determination to make it to the top.
Right.
It is
Mhm.
not for the weak at the faint at heart.
And the sacrifice.
Yes,
The
you've gotta be willing
sacrifice.
to do that, and when you've got to push so hard, to be there's so few people that make it to that top.
Yeah, the
And
percentage
it's just
is
it's
minimal.
Just,
of
Yeah.
to
great.
make it to that.
Yeah, you've got to
That
have
level.
that level.
additional scrappiness to get
Yeah.
there.
So shout out to Erin Jackson, right?
Oh my gosh.
Now she
Yes.
just started skating 5 years ago,
Mhm.
and she had a problem to where she was not going to. She had an accident or something, and she was not supposed to be able to skate.
You mean
And
in
one
the-
of her teammates
that's the best.
gave her
Yeah.
her slot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she did.
Yeah.
And you know
Oh, the
what? I
speed
saw that
The speed
race.
skater, yeah.
I know we just
From
hopped right out of
Florida.
football.
Yeah. Ocala, Florida, of all
Yeah.
places.
I saw that race, and if you could see the very minute error, it literally, if they didn't point it out, you'd have just been like, oh, she almost, it's like the smallest of bobbles,
Yeah.
and it took her out of the race.
Yeah.
I mean, it was shocking that something that it looked like a shoulder shimmy at best. It just didn't even look like anything that significant. And I love the story, again, that human story, that element of sportsmanship, where Bo, her mentor and friend, gave her the spot and then turned around and she ended up in the race anyway.
Yeah.
That's what I
Yeah.
thought was
That's
really cool
awesome.
because we had enough spots. But she was a great story.
Yeah,
Excellent story.
absolutely.
Roller skater to speed skater.
Right.
On ice, by the way.
On ice.
Could not be me. Like 5 years.
Yes,
Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
On
Yeah.
the long track too. wasn't
On the
it?
long
Yeah.
track. Craziness.
Yeah.
I mean, and when you talk about the level of how these people are performing, I think we were talking about that a couple weeks ago. It's like, our average and their average look totally different.
Right.
For them to be where they start off as average, they're already peaking in some areas and then able to kick it up. And I think after, when we talk about the Olympics, there's plenty of stories of that where people are, when you're average, but you're average and Olympic eligible, that is an average. It doesn't look like anybody
Right.
else's average.
Yeah.
So
Our
Erin
averages
is
are
a-
not the same.
no,
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 no.
we need a curve.
Yeah.
Frame me on a curve with
Danielle, I wanted to ask
Stephanie,
you
I thought we were Gen
because-
Xers.
Sorry,
Danielle,
Carrie.
I wanted to ask you because the coach of the year it's coming up soon. How important is coach of the year and what qualities do we look for in that coach?
So, all right. So I'm going to relate this to college basketball because,
Right.
somebody got to carry the college
me there.
basketball flag.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. And Coach K's getting ready to retire. So I don't want to take anything away from him, but here's what I'm going to say. The past 10 years, the most winning coach in college basketball is Tony Bennett. UVA's coach with 138 wins.
Somebody,
Hold
there's a
on. I
Cavalier
got
in the
my
audience.
receipts, Dr. Danny. Hold on.
Oh.
I got my receipts, Dr. Danny. Hold on. I
Cheers to
got
the receipts.
Bennett with 138 wins. I'm not taking away from Coach K's game, but he got 127. Most
Not taking it away, but
winning
we're gonna point it out.
conference coach in the past 10 years. Past 10 years. There's something to be said.
Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
Something
you
to
know,
be said.
Especially when you look at how certain teams are immediately put in that dynasty mode. I mean, pretty much, I'm again not taking away from Coach K. Anyone who goes to coach at UNC, Duke,
Yeah.
any of those big name schools, they're immediately going to be in the conversation with the greats, whether they earn it or not. They walk into the room and they're in the presence of greatness, and people are going to say, well, they got to coach there because they're great. They get a little bit more grace than someone like Shaka when he was here at VCU. He had to build up that momentum to be considered at that level. But if you go coach at Duke, you're immediately in the conversation. You leave people out like at UVA because it doesn't have that brand name, or it didn't always have that brand name in the basketball space.
And
But
it goes back
kudos
to,
him for that level of winning.
I can remember telling a kid that I was not chasing wins, I was chasing dynasties. And that's what I was building when I was
Okay.
on the coaching side.
All right.
And the
all
coach
right.
looking at me like, I'm
Look
not
at Danielle.
building, I want the win. Every coach, every player wants
Sure.
the win. But I'm in for the long haul. You got to play for me for all 4 years. You can't just play for me for one and then go pro.
And go pro.
Right. So there's something to be said for building the dynasty.
So can I just add something to the coach of the year real
Yes.
quick? Because I was watching the Duke Wake Forest game last night, and Wake Forest lost by 2. And I believe the Wake Forest coach, who is Steve Forbes, has a 20-7 record. Nobody's talked about it. They're an ACC school.
There
Wake
you
Forest
go.
is not typically, unless you're thinking of like back in the day with
The 80s.
The
80s, yeah.
Yeah, but it's been a while. So I think for a coach to turn that program around to 20-7 and come down to the last couple minutes, almost beaten Duke, I'd say he's
Kudos to him.
yeah, I think he's a good candidate for
You
coach
know
of
what?
the year.
And let's continue this conversation, ladies, after our halftime show. We'll be right back.
Oh, we got a
Stay
halftime show
tuned,
now,
stay
y'all.
tuned.
Uh-oh. Where's the performance? Mike and the halftime show performance.